Hello, Detroit and the world. Welcome to another episode of Authentically Detroit, broadcasting live from the Audio Wave Network studios here on the Lower East Side in the city of Detroit, powered by Eastside Community Network and sponsored by none other than the Ford Foundation. Now a content partner to the newbridgedetroit.com. I'm Orlando Bailey, and my co-host Donna Davison is on a much-deserved vacation. For the next 2 weeks, we are sending her well wishes and good vibes as she recharges. Donna, stay off Facebook, go somewhere and enjoy the sun and relax, release. Joining me in her place is our friend Chase Cantrell. Welcome back to the co-host seat, Chase.
What up, though?
What up, though, Chase? Hey, he gets applause. He said yes. We can never get this man on the show, but he said yes. Thank you for listening in and supporting our efforts to build a platform of authentic voices for real people on the east side of Detroit. We want you to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on all platforms. We drop a new episode every week, so be sure to turn on those notifications. Joining us today are two Detroiters who really don't need any introductions, but I'm going to do my best to introduce them briefly. Bucky Willis is a born and bred Detroiter. She has a Master of Architecture degree from the University of Detroit. Mercy. Her career in research lies at the intersection where architecture and design meet social justice and emotional impact. Okay. She is the founder of Bleeding Heart Design, and she's one of my bestest friends in Detroit. Bucky, welcome to Authentically Detroit.
Thank you for having me.
I cannot believe this is your first time here. We feel so honored that you're making a public appearance lately, because Bucky been on hiatus. She been refraining from.
Yeah, I've been off the radar for at least a year and a half.
I know. So thank you for coming up for air with us. Also joining us is Lauren Hood. Lauren is also a Detroiter. She is a cultural placekeeper, sought after speaker, and facilitator on equity, racial justice, and Afrofuturism. I am killing these intros today. Her website says that she is practicing reparations in chocolate cities, reconciling history, empowering people, preserving culture, activating assets, invoking imagination, and restoring spirit. Such a tall order for such a giant, though. Lauren, welcome back to Authentically Detroit.
Thank you, Orlando and Chase. Thanks for having me.
We're so excited to have you. Hey, applause for Lauren here, y'all. The Titan. How does this primary election day find each of you? Chase, what's going on?
Listen, I'm pumped up. You know that I love election season, so got up early, went out and voted.
What time did you get up? What's early?
Okay, so I didn't get there when they opened.
Oh, okay.
I was there by 9 o'clock.
Is this like a holiday for you? Do you celebrate?
Barbecue at Chase's house.
In general, I do. Like, I will be out giving out literature or, actually participating. But this time, just got a chance to vote for some good people, so I feel good.
Yeah. What about you, Lauren? I see your sticker.
I said, I actually forgot until I saw your Instagram photo, and I was on my way over here. I'm like, I can't show up to these people not having exercised my right on primary day. So I quickly got it in. And I must admit, I didn't know any of the people for clerk, and I texted Chase for Black Up. I was like, who am I putting in for clerk?
These people. Who are these people?
I know these people.
I got you.
Yeah, I know you do. So I was like, let me text Chase right quick.
Much like Chase, I have also been fielding calls and text messages
about who to vote
for, all, the entire time. Bucky, did you show up to these people and having not voted?
I'm gonna go after this. So they close at 8. The polls close at 8.
Okay. Did you remember, or you forgot? Like Lauren?
I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. But I do always make sure that I vote. So I'm glad I remembered.
Yeah, I was number 8 in my voting precinct.
I was 51.
You were 51
at whatever time right before this.
So about 4:30, 4. Yeah, that's crazy. I went and it was around 10:30, and I was the 8th person. And so Detroit, we got to figure out what the conversation looks like when it comes to participating in the democracy in the city of Detroit. I think there's something there that we haven't uncovered as to why we get such low.
Well, there's apathy, right? Like if you vote time and time again and you don't see any action from your vote, you're going to stop voting.
Yeah.
Like, we have to give people reasons to vote.
Yeah. But I want to hear that from the citizenry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go in the streets and talk about that and really hear people's hearts as to why they choose to stay home. The clerk announced yesterday that there are about 50,000 folks in the city who have voted absentee. So they're expecting about 50,000 ballots in the absentee vote. But they're only expecting about 15,000 people to actually show up to the polls, right? And so we're talking about a voter turnout of about 65,000 people with a citizenry of upwards of 650,000 people in the city of Detroit. And so I wonder about the apathy question, but I also wonder how many of us who are here that aren't living here legally, like got addresses somewhere else and can't vote in the city. You know what I mean? Like I think we got to start having those conversations. But it's a beautiful day. It is. It's a beautiful day.
Having those conversations with folks.
It's a beautiful day. It's sunny outside. We get to see Lauren Hood and Bucky Willis in one room after this Pantene Pro V that we've been under for the last year and a half. I am so excited to talk to the both of y'all. But it is time for fresh off the press news that we are thinking about. If you have pieces that you want discussed on Authentically Detroit, you can hit us up on our socials at Authentically Detroit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. Chase, fresh off the press.
Yeah, so Michigan's affordable housing crisis may get worse as eviction moratorium ends. This is from Bridge, Michigan. And we are just woefully at a point in Michigan's history where we just don't have enough affordable housing. And as people are coming out of this moratorium, we may see more people kicked out of their homes. I mean, this is not just a Detroit problem. I know that we often frame it as a Detroit thing, but this is throughout the state of Michigan and in cities from the UP all the way down to the southern border. So there's some good news. President Biden announced today that the moratorium will be extended. He hasn't said for how long.
After Congress people had to camp out at the Capitol.
Right. So, I mean, there was some pressure, but he's doing the right thing. And I don't really think that he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart, though. I mean, we see the Delta variant for COVID-19, which is spreading. It's more, it can be spread more easily than other variants before. So the CDC is basically saying, look, we can't have people out on the street. So, I mean, that's the rationale rather than saying that we need to give people quality, affordable housing and that housing is a human right. That's not the language that we're getting. Yeah. Right. The moratorium will end at some point and we will see Detroit and other cities need to build more affordable housing.
How long do you think that this can go on in terms of the extensions that the CDC has been giving in terms of not ending the moratorium? When does the pressure of capitalism win, like in this case, especially, I mean,
pretty shortly, right? Like, it's, I mean, we often think of real estate in terms of like the evil landlord who just wants to make money. But in Detroit, there are a lot of small mom and pop landlords too, like people who own the house, who are good and who want to see their tenants thrive and live in quality, affordable housing. But you can't exist as a landlord either on the other side indefinitely. So we have seen the city of Detroit is using some of the ARPA money for rental assistance as well. So, I mean, there are cities that are looking for other solutions, but they're all temporary. Yeah. We're going to run out of money and at some point.
I'm glad you brought that nuance up about landlords not all being evil, because I think the discourse is good, evil, bad, and in the city of Detroit, like you said, there are many amazing landlords who need the rent. Is there relief or help for them?
Often the help and the relief come to the tenant, right? So let's give the tenant money and that will flow to the landlord. Very rarely is it directly to the landlord.
Okay. Yeah. All right, more to come. But how long is it extended for? Another month?
They haven't announced yet. They sort of teased it today. I don't think that we have the answer on that length, but we have a landlord in the studio.
Yeah, I am a small landlord.
Come on, Bucky.
I just went through this with one of my proproperties and
look at black people own this stuff. She said one of my properties. One of your little houses.
You got little houses. I can't even remember the organization at the time right now, but the money came. They actually did send it directly to me, and there was some understanding too about maybe like all the paperwork wasn't there, but we got things in order, and we gave proof that the tenant had been there for a while. And so that was nice. And then they also paid like extra utilities and things like that. Just a one-time thing, but it was like, a thing to get the person over the hump, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was relatively easy, like seamless. Not like some things where it's like, you gotta jump through all the hoops just to get the financing that you need or the support. And then you spend hours and hours doing that and not focused on actually working and making money. But yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting because I was a little bit surprised. And they had said that a lot of this money is not getting to where it needs to be because of red tape.
Who is they?
I will tell you in a second. It's
I have a
United
sense of who it might be.
Community
Yeah, that's what I was
Housing
thinking.
Coalition, UCAC.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Look at my email.
All right, look at your email. But the other thing that I want to say to our listeners and to people who may hear this is, if you got the money, pay your rent. Like, don't.
That is another thing too, right?
Don't
Some folks
stop paying your rent because the moratorium doesn't absolve you from back rent, does it?
It does not erase the back rent.
Ooh,
Which is why when the moratorium is lifted, landlords, not just the bad ones, right? The good ones who need to also make money to allow the property to continue to function. There's going to be evictions. There's always been a backlog of evictions in our court
in the
system,
courts. I was getting ready to say what the court's looking like. Yeah.
We don't have enough judges. We don't have enough lawyers to represent tenants, right? So it's often one-sided anyhow. The landlord's going in with counsel, the tenant is not. It's always a mess. I encourage any listener who's just interested, once the moratorium is lifted, just sit in the landlord-tenant court at 36th District Court just to see what happens. It is disgusting, right? It is just tenant after tenant after tenant. It's just they flow
with no
through,
representation.
with no representation. The city again is trying to work on some mechanisms to get unrepresented folks in council, but it's a bad look.
Do we have a right to counsel resolution here in the city of Detroit? I know that there's a coalition of organizations that are working to get some sort of legislation passed in the city. What does that look like?
Yep, hasn't been passed. There's been money that's been allocated. There are several community organizations that provide legal counsel for low-income folks and folks who need it in terms of landlord and tenant, but we don't have a right to counsel in the city of Detroit.
Yep.
Lauren, what's your face saying?
I feel like my thoughts are always so far out of left field. So when I'm thinking about a lack of affordable housing, yes, we need affordable housing, but can we think about how to get people to a place where they don't need affordable housing? Like attack the problem from the other end? Yes. And is there some way in the name of reparations where we can take some market rate housing, and because it's not, at full occupancy, give that to some folks in the affordable
because there's
category.
a lot of empty.
That's my guess. I don't know, but it would be my guess that some of these places that
they were emptying out, right? People were buying houses.
According to my realtor friends, that was surprising to me. So people like me, I started looking for a house during COVID because I was like, this little 750 square feet was cute when I didn't have to be in it all day. But yes, last year meant lots of people were trying to upsize.
Man, I got outbid so many times.
How many units are available? That you could put some people at an affordable income into.
Yeah, as a part of reparations.
Yeah, seriously. Can some real estate developers take a hit in the name of some people? Not the small ones.
Because I'm like...
Not the developers of color. Not the small ones, not the ones that just got in the game, but we're talking about the ones that has historically benefited.
Lauren coming out the gate swinging,
that's where my mind goes, way
we
left
about to get
field.
all the emails. Jeez.
So I looked it up in my emails. Wayne Metro was the organization.
They do a lot of good work.
They do.
Yeah.
Community Action Agency. Check them out. Fresh off the press, Wayne State to require COVID vaccination, reimposing mask mandate. So far, 8 colleges in Michigan are requiring vaccinations. This is by Chad Livengood, reporting for Crane's Detroit Business. So it was announced today via email by Wayne State University President Dr. Roy M. Wilson that at least up until mid-September that the university is imposing a mask mandate indoors in their Midtown campus and proof of vaccination from students, professors, and faculty. And what we are seeing right now is the rapid spread of this Delta variant that looks like it's going to be shutting down America in the cities even more. There was some crazy news that came out of New York about vaccination, required proof of vaccination to get in public spaces. And with the FDA certification like looming, right, when the FDA just puts its stamp on the vaccine and not just for emergency usage, I think that entities that are not government entities are going to trend toward requiring their employees, their students, what have you, the public to be vaccinated if they want to, take advantage of, said space. Yeah. And Wayne State University is the latest in the news. Michigan State has already had something similar. University of Detroit Mercy, Central Michigan University, as well as Oakland and Lawrence Tech, Oakland University and Lawrence Tech.
And U of M.
And the University of Michigan. And so CDC released guidance around counties in Michigan that are at high risk. Interestingly enough, Wayne State is not one of the counties, but the surrounding counties like Oakland and Macomb are at high risk for this spread. And we know, since they're right next door, that we're susceptible. And right now, I think there are about 20 active cases of COVID-19 within Wayne County. And so, how do y'all feel about this?
So is this like for Wayne State, is it more like if they want to come in person, they have to be vaccinated, but they can still continue classes online? Or is it like, if you want to be a student here, you have to be vaccinated no matter what?
I think it is for the you know what, I'm not going to speculate. The article doesn't specify whether or not it's for online or in person, but it was a campus-wide email. Wayne State is now requiring all students and employees to submit proof of COVID-19 vaccination. Get this, by August 30th to be allowed on campus. So
okay,
yes,
gotcha.
on
all
campus.
Right.
But there's also some ways to opt out, right? Like if you have actual health concerns that don't permit you to take it, you can opt out. You have to provide proof, or if you have...
Can you opt out and still show up on campus, or they just... Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Can your pastor write you a letter?
And for religious reasons as well. That's legit
really?
as well. I don't know how
Pastor
they're
can
going
write you
to
a note.
analyze that, right? Like what religious reason they'll validate, but they were clear that is also something that one can do.
But also, why is the little vaccination card something I can make at Kinko's?
Well,
Like, why does it look like that?
People are making fake
Why
cards.
does it look like that? It's not even laminated.
listen.
You know?
And there have been some vaccination cards going for the black market, especially when the
I
governor
bet.
instituted this lottery that didn't really move
my
the needle.
God.
It was $5 million to give away, and it did not move the needle in terms of convincing people to get vaccinated. Let me ask you this. Do you think when the FDA puts its rubber stamp on this vaccine, period, that we're going to see an uptick in employers? We see the hospitals already doing this. I was surprised that the hospitals had to make their employees, like nurses and doctors,
It's like, what do they know that we don't know?
get vaccinated.
Yeah.
That, do you think we're going to see people who have been like, nah, I'm good, finally go ahead and say, yeah, to maintain their income? Like, are they willing to not have a job to?
Well, everybody's got their different reasons. I know I had a nurse who's staying at one of my Airbnbs, and she has said that she's been so exposed to it and probably had it a couple of times already that it was just like not even a big deal for her anymore. But that's just one particular case. Because
not a big deal as in she'll get the shot, or
I don't know if she had the shot or not.
Okay.
She just did not seem COVID conscious in the sense of like being afraid of it. I think she had seen it all, and I think germs no longer scared her. So I think it's all on the individual level. But I do feel like it's a slippery slope though when employers and universities start to mandate that everybody kind of conform. Even if it is for safety reasons.
They're not the government. They can do that. They can litigate. They'll be in court, but the government can't do that. But they're, these are.
Yeah, well, I just feel like it's going to be a slippery slope, and I'm kind of interested to sit back and sip my tea and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, we've seen schools do this for decades and decades. We don't
TB shots.
Yeah, TB shots, or even
Flu shots,
polio, measles,
all
like things that we don't see that much anymore because they mandated vaccines.
So it's not a precedent. I mean, it's not unprecedented.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, one of the things, you know, like to push back on what the nurse is saying. And I had this conversation on Channel 4 a couple months ago. I didn't get the vaccination for me. Right? Because it was more than it being just about me. Right? It was so that I can be a good neighbor. Like, I wanted to be a good neighbor. I wanted to be a good Detroiter. It was right, because even though it's not a big deal to her and she'll come out all right, if she gave that to somebody else, will that be the same, the same story for that person? I mean, so for me, it was about not protecting myself, yes, but because I want to be protected, but also protecting people that I love. I wanted to see my family. I want to see my friends. And
it's interesting to me because I see in countries like the United States, like France, where liberty is such just a part of the culture, that people are become individualistic in a cultural sense, right? That this infringes on my personal liberty, and that goes so deep for folks, and they're just ingrained in our psyche that they don't see the social benefit, right? They don't understand the nature of protecting others. It's about me.
And I think that rugged individualism is no more than a tenet of white supremacy, especially because black folk, I'm serious.
Well, as Chase was talking, I was like, yeah, that's the white folks who don't want to do it. But I think black folks
are
get it
communal.
For a different reason, though.
What's the reason?
Well, we don't trust the medical profession in general, because there's a history of bad treatment for
it's not
black
just a history.
folks.
It's like
present,
right? Like we continue to
There are
experience
those, yes. There are discrepancies in how black folks and white folks are treated. So why would we, rush out there to get this thing that we don't have all the answers about?
And meanwhile, they're still finding long-term side effects
of the vaccine. Well, I'm late to the party. So Bucky's not at the party yet. I just got to the party last week. I had my first shot like last week. Well, I've got some autoimmune issues, and my holistic doctor was like, that shit might fuck you up. She's like, I can't tell you this like on the record. Like, she wouldn't email me. She had to call me so that there's no trace of it. She's like, maybe you should wait a little bit and follow the research. Yeah. So
I have another friend
the only thing I learned was that I
shouldn't
get Johnson & Johnson, at this point. But, selfishly, unlike you, I was like, I need to get off this continent. I like to travel. Yeah. Bucky, we can't leave the continent unless you get this thing.
You can't even go to Toronto.
This is most of the reason that I got it is because I want to travel. But also, I love live music. Like, I want to go to a show again at some point. So I'm just thinking about, I want to participate again. So I went ahead and got it. But to be honest, it was very selfish. I wasn't thinking about your neighbors.
What's funny, though, is
I don't know. I don't go that many places, so I can't transmit that much.
But following the research, like, the CDC is like a $6.5 billion agency. It's like, what can I do as an individual in terms of research that the CDC can't do? And I know that folks don't trust the government for good reason, but it's like, these are experts. And they spend billions of dollars on this a year. Like, what am I going to do on Google?
But you know what's funny though? Like, out to counter that, one of the critiques that I've been seeing is that the CDC is changing again, especially with the new mask mandate that came out like last week. They keep changing their minds. It's like, so they got all this money, but Whitney asked Diane Sawyer, "Do you know?"
Well, it's not just that;
it's discovering things.
Yeah, it's evolving. Yeah.
But okay, I check my resources. I am a stickler for checking my online resources. So I usually have sources from like universities and things like that.
Peer reviewed research.
I listen to. And I can tell you why I'm not vaccinated yet. It's because I'm waiting to see what this is really going to do for women. And most people don't even pinpoint Black women in their research. But I'm still just waiting in general. Like, for women, what is this doing? And so far, we know that it's causing blood clots. Yes. We know that it's causing, like, are
you thinking reproductive issues
in a
or something?
significant number?
They don't say that it causes reproductive issues yet. They're trying to shy away from
You got to share them sources.
But
I haven't seen that. I'm serious.
I'll send it to you.
Because you said it, I want to put it in the description of the podcast so people
But it's
can
a
look
really
at
good point, though, that whenever we're doing clinical trials, usually Black folk aren't involved.
They're not.
We are not a test group.
So they're not a test group. So
Yep.
it's just like, how do we really know?
That's
how
because we ain't trying.
Well, that's number
Somebody
Be like,
would
nah.
for the right price. Somebody would for
Pay
the right
me.
price.
Like, give me, I don't know, $1,000. Like, yeah.
Seriously.
No,
These
my
COVID
life
times.
worth more than $1,000, bro. You have to
Some
come
people
off
need that
the
though.
dime.
Not everybody has an Emmy.
No.
And can tack that extra zero.
That wraps
onto
up
their
our
fee.
fresh off the press segment. If you have pieces that you want discussed on Authentically Detroit, you can hit us up on our socials at Authentically Detroit on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. I promise the sources that Bucky is talking about, we'll have it in the description of this video. And shout out to Lauren Hood for making us put a parental explicit check mark on our
snap.
podcast.
Did
But
I
now we
swear?
can speak freely, right?
We can always speak freely, right?
Oh, can we not swear?
You can swear whatever. This is a podcast. We do not claim to be a family-friendly show on
Okay.
this podcast.
My bad.
We're fine. Listen, Yusuf Shakur is also a frequent guest, and we already know what to do when he comes on, so it's all good. And then Antoine swore last
Did he?
week. Yeah, so shout out to Antoine Bryant.
I feel like that was a baby swear. I don't remember what he said. It wasn't, I don't know. Yeah.
When you say like poo or something.
Lauren, I wish y'all could see what's
I'm just
happening
cleaning my
in the
glasses.
studio. So Lauren got like a fog cloud on her glasses. And she like wiping her glasses on the outside, but it's on the inside.
I have only had glasses for like 3 days, Orlando. I don't know.
Oh
I've
my
only
God.
had these for 3 days.
Oh man.
Literally 3 days. Shout out to Dr. Tiffany.
Shout out to the
Your
Black
best
optometrist
friend.
of Detroit, one of my best friends in the city,
She's
Dr. Tiffany. Who
awesome.
is she's all of our
I want to
optometrists.
go now.
You gotta get her. Like, yeah.
I don't even need glasses. I just wear them because they look nice.
You still need an eye exam every year.
I didn't think I needed them
Thanks.
either. I seriously thought she was going to give me some supplements to take. She was like, oh no, you need glasses.
I probably need them too. I've been squinting a lot more.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, is she
When you
called me
get them,
like,
you'll be like, oh, I needed them probably for a long time.
Everything
Everything's
will
so
be
much
more
clearer.
clear.
Seriously.
oh, look at Lauren discovering that she ain't young no more. Listen, yes, let's shout out Dr. Tiffany Humes. She is an optometrist at Henry Ford Health System. She's right in the main campus of Henry Ford Hospital. Make an appointment today. Also, I think that she's working on something with Eastside Community Network to set up something for the community in the Stoudemire Wellness Hub. So
Awesome.
shout out to her. But listen,
Okay, did we so just to pause in the wellness center, we heard today Rashida Tlaib worked hard for ECN to get $1.7 million for the wellness center.
$1.7 million.
That's amazing.
We've been
That's
sitting
so
on that
dope.
news because it has not been public, and Donna would be.
Chase keep breaking stories that aren't public yet.
Donna posted it.
Donna
on Facebook.
posted
Okay.
it recently
I ain't
because
breaking
we've
up.
known for a few weeks. But ECN, so just to give you guys some context around like just how significant this $1.7 million is to Eastside Community Network. ECN's annual budget sits around $2 million. Like Rashida Tlaib just added, almost doubled this small nonprofit's budget.
I love Rashida.
For an amazing cause, the Stoudemire Wellness Hub, named for the late Marlo Stoudemire. Shout out to his wife Valencia for giving Donna and ECN the green light to build such an amazing campus in his honor. But 1.7 mil, doubled the Eastside Community Network's
Listen, I need to call
budget.
Rashida. I need some money.
Congresswoman Tlaib, you are invited on the show next week, so Chase can ask for some appropriations.
I'll be here.
Listen, we feel so fortunate to have Lauren and Bucky here to talk about what they've been up to. We haven't heard from Bucky in such a long time. Lauren has been flying a little bit under the radar, doing some really cool stuff. But I think right now, since the last time that we've heard from the both of you, Lauren, since the last time you were on this show with Mike Rafferty, you had just taken your role at New Detroit. Both of you are in different roles than what you were a year ago. What's the latest, Bucky? Where you at? What you doing?
Okay, so I think the last time I went on, I guess, in public was one of your Facebook Lives.
Yeah.
Chase, but that was a long time ago. I don't even remember
That
when.
was last summer. Yeah, it's been a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, I don't think I had started at Develop Detroit yet, but I think I had the position secured. So I'm Rose Fellow, Enterprise Community Partners Rose Fellow, and my host company is Develop Detroit.
That sounds fancy.
It is fancy. It's actually a really sought after fellowship for architectural designers, landscape
Go
designers.
ahead. She got her a little fellowship.
My little fellowship.
This is like the 20th fellowship she's done, right?
This is actually
between both of
fellowship
y'all,
number 11 or 12, I think, in the last few years. So
I didn't even know fellowships existed until Bucky came to Urban Consulate, like 2017. It was like, yeah, I've been on 5 or 6. I'm like, what is this word? What is this fellowship?
And then Chase and Bucky own all of the fellowships.
Actually, between all of us, we probably done all the ones in Detroit.
We did all the good ones.
No, I haven't done any in Detroit.
You did Be Me.
Oh, that, yeah. I did Be Me. Yeah, that was just last year.
Marshall Fellow, but you know.
That's not.
nothing in Detroit.
It's true.
Go ahead. We're talking about Bucky. We're talking about Bucky.
He got
I'm just saying, like y'all did a lot of stuff though.
So yeah, but Develop Detroit is ran by Sonia May. She's a director, and she's an amazing woman to work with.
Your classmate.
Renaissance grad,
Nice.
U of M law school grad, and business school. Yeah, she's quite the person.
Cool.
Yeah, and I love the organization's mission and how it is really driven for like preserving affordable housing, also doing market rate, but also being very conscious about the realities of Detroit and how to kind of close those gaps, especially for our demographic. And so
Black folks.
Yes.
Black folks.
What do those gaps look like? Finance gaps?
It's more about home ownership gaps and all the inequalities that come with the processes for us. So it's not always straightforward like some of our white peers. It's more like hoops and hurdles to jump over and get through to become homeowners. And so we're just trying to like look at that like in the face and just figure out like, okay, how do we as a developer and organization begin to help close these gaps? And so part of my fellowship is to help us like ideate and have focus groups and kind of figure out, okay, what are the numbers and the realities? And then what is our role in this bigger scheme of like all the things that organizations are doing around Detroit to help get people where they want to be in life.
Well, you know, it's so funny because the article that Chase was referencing earlier called Housing Affordability in the State a Crisis. Are you guys on that same wavelength at Develop Detroit?
We are, and we recognize that it is an issue. And so that's why affordable housing preservation is a really important pillar of the organization. And so we are, I mean, I'm not even sure if this is like shareable yet. That's why I don't like going live. But no, we are preserving about 52 units in the North End area and adding some more for market units in the North End. So that is kind of how we start to balance or even tip the scale in the right direction. But it is just a small part of this bigger crisis.
Just to put that in perspective, though, and I mean, Develop Detroit is doing affordable housing, right? Just full stop. But we need 100,000 affordable units in Detroit, new affordable units in Detroit. 100,000.
That's more than like 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. Yeah. Like family units.
Family units. The state of Michigan needs 200,000. So half of that need is in Detroit. So even if Develop Detroit, does 52 units,
it's barely like scratching the surface of what we really need.
And development in Detroit is hard, not just for finance reasons, but there are bureaucracy reasons. There are process things. There are things that the city needs to improve on as well that city's working on, but we're not there yet. So it's just like doing development in Detroit is difficult, but the need is so high. And there aren't that many people who can do development at scale, right? True. And there are even fewer Black developers who can do development at scale. So it's just...
So you got to have a mission if you want to do work here in the city,
you have to
right?
be passionate.
You got to be passionate. You got to have a heart for it.
It's hard. It's hard work. And I should clarify, we have more than 52. We just started construction this week on another unit that's 52. But it is just a drop in the bucket compared to the big picture.
Lauren? What you doing, Lauren? Have you done media lately? No. Are you getting ready to make an announcement that you haven't made yet
like you should
to
make it
media?
here.
I am, but I'm trying to be strategic about it. Like, the ego in me is like, I want the likes. I want to put out what I'm doing so everybody can be like, oh my God, Lauren, you're so amazing. However, I really want the work to be sustainable, which means I need to think through a lot of things before I go public, because you only get one shot at a first impression. So you don't want to be out there like half-assed. But I am finished with both my rounds of strategic planning, so a lot of it's pretty figured out. And I presented to Kevin this morning, a
Kevin who?
5-year. Kevin Ryan.
From where?
From the Ford Foundation. So I gave Kevin my a 5-year strategic plan.
Shout out to
morning.
Kevin, who also funds Authentically Detroit.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. So
okay,
I can talk about it a little bit. So I'm launching the Institute for Afro-Urbanism. I will probably make a formal announcement in September when I'm done with the design process with the website and the logo. But
will that be IFAU? Like, what's the acronym?
IAU.
IAU. Okay.
IAU. I have Afro-Urbanism.com. So watch that site for progress.
If it's the institute, get EDU too.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yes. But I guess in short, what I'll say about it.
Do that before this airs, though.
Somebody go try to steal it.
Like, do that tonight.
Right.
Ooh, my bad. Dang, I should have said that off the air. JG, can you edit this out?
But not the EDU part. So I was going to describe Afro-Urbanism as centering Black thriving in the ideation and manifestation of Black futures. And I'm intentionally using more artistic words because I'm currently really bored with the way that we talk about community development. I don't like the word community anymore. I don't like equity. I don't like engagement. So I'm like, I want to play with the artist. So I'm going over there for like language and ideas. So
tell us what that means.
Ideation and manifestation. I think that a lot of good ideas about what the future of Detroit looks like exist in the artist ether. And I think that we don't have a lot of connections between community development and the art world. Like right now it's just like, oh, I need like some artwork. Yeah, I need a mural. Exactly. I know. I was thinking about saying
I literally need a mural right now.
I'm trying to not go do that because I know that
how you call out your friend? That's your friend.
But that's what we do. We're like, okay, I have the building already conceptualized and the tenant, and now I just need some art for the walls. Like I think there's something more that artists have to contribute, and mostly because and I said this on the podcast before, artists don't have a boss. Like, many of us in this sector are confined by who we report to, like whether it's a board or like a director. So our ideas about what is possible are limited by what our sector's doing. But I feel like artists only respond to the muse, right? So they can have any kind of crazy idea for what is possible. So I think our two sectors need to be talking more, community development and the artist folks.
And we do you think that there is a need to try to formalize the artist sector, but without sucking out?
No. Maybe formalize some interaction between development sector and artists, but I feel like no, we don't. I mean, because then that just takes all the creativity out of it. Yeah. I don't want to touch what artists do. I just want to figure out how we can all talk more.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Because even historically, like artists are trying to sell their art, right? There is a public to which they are responding, right? So it's not like they don't have bosses. Like some are there's.
But do you think, like, does a real artist sit there and think, what do the people want right now? I think an artist's real job is to respond to what's happening in the world, and kind of interpret it for people or propose solutions through, some medium. But I don't think a real artist sits there and tries to think about, how can I sell this?
Bucky, you're as close to an artist than the three of us are.
That's right.
Oh, no, I always do a disclaimer. I'm a creative. I'm not an artist.
Okay.
I'm not free. I'm not liberal in my thinking enough.
Says who?
Oh, so that's what you think
that's my distinction between being a creative
I don't believe
and being
that
an artist. Because I didn't go to school or like even self-educate or like be self-taught to be an artist, quote unquote. It's more like I am an architectural designer. I'm a designer and creative. But I think there's more rigor in design, and then art it's more of just like expression or responding to cultural happenings and things like that.
You don't respond to cultural happenings in design?
I do, but it's like you have to figure out how much the couch is going to cost. That kind of like,
Yeah.
That's real.
or how much the beams and the material will cost that will have to like.
So that inhibits your design when you're designing something.
It inhibits creativity, but it also is like, you know, that's one of the fun challenges of being an architectural designer.
It's trying to figuring
it out. But still, I think artists are more free. They're just like more, and I do think I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you and Chase are saying. There's multifaceted artists. I think some create things to sell them to keep the lights on, and I think some have even like times where they create things to express.
Right.
Whether they sell that piece or they keep it, it's up to them. But I think really they're kind of striking this balance so they can have a life.
Yes.
To live.
But I think there's money for artists over where we are, right? Because I think that present company excluded. I think like developers sometimes think they real creative. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Just you can bring in an artist or a creative to do that thinking for you.
Yep.
Developer, you ain't got to do all that.
And what's even funny though, like with the architect, right? The reason I say architects are artists because at least the architects that I interact with, Black architects,
like Bucky,
like
Damon,
our friend Damon Dickerson,
right?
Yeah. Like, just blow my mind with like the concepts and literally art, right? Like the design itself, that I've never studied this, right?
Yeah.
Never would have thought of. It's just like, oh, we can do that. That's really dope.
It is, yeah. I like blowing people's minds.
Yes, we don't get our mind blown enough in this. I don't. Which is why I've been like trying to inspire myself. I feel like I was waiting for something to happen out there, and I'm like, you could do it.
Lauren, talk to us about this concept of Afro-Urbanism.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Let me go. Yeah, so the definition again is centering Black thriving in the ideation and manifestation of Black futures. So instead of thinking of our communities, which is just like three-dimensional, I say Black futures, which means like experiential as well. So it's more holistic. And Black thriving means instead of focusing on what's wrong with the built environment, the ways in which the people are deficient, you know, from our BME, let's do an asset frame. So it's kind of an asset frame. And I feel like Lauren 1.0 through 5.0 was like yelling at the system about all the things that were wrong. I want to stay in an affirmative space. So I'm like, what would I like to think about, talk about, work on all day that would just bring me joy? So Black thriving. I want to figure out like, what are the conditions necessary for Black folks to thrive? And I drilled it down to like there being these three components. So we have to have agency, abundance, and audacity. Ooh. So I feel like audacity is the one that is the sexiest to work with, because I think lots of us, you know, we got a little job title, little again, got a little money, little money put together, a little network, but there's still, you know, we're still falling in line. So how do we get Black folks to break out of that and be like, no, I want to do something for my people.
And be
I'm going to be a little bit disruptive and be audacious.
Because this actually came up with me in Orlando over this past weekend, I think. I had been doing some research about Proposal P and who was funding the anti-Proposal P campaign. And
the mayor?
Oh, yeah.
You know. but you know, who was behind the nonprofit that's being funded, like the names and all that. It was hard to find, actually.
Oh, Lord.
And I was asking Orlando, I'm like, listen, I'm waiting for a building permit. Like, legit right now. Like, the mayor's office is involved. Like, it's been over, like, 90 days, which is, my contractor has never seen this before. Like, why are we waiting this long? Anyhow, but it's like, can I post the thing knowing that I'm literally waiting on something from the city of Detroit, right? And of course, Orlando's like, post it. So I posted it. But, you know, but it's those kinds of questions that are real. Like, can we actually rage against the system if we're in the system?
Can we be audacious without consequence that is detrimental to the advancement that we're trying to spur?
Well, I think it's more about, again, staying in the affirmative. So instead of calling out what might be wrong, what's the thing you want to happen? I don't know, be like, look at how seamless this process is in Seattle. What, you know, why can't we have processes that are more streamlined like this? So instead of, you know, calling out what's not working, propose something that could work. And it's not about, you know, not not wanting to be disruptive. It's just about, being strategic.
It's still disruptive, right? By saying like, this is the way the system should be.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still a disruption.
It is, exactly.
But it's a positive
thing. Yeah.
And Bucky, you do this kind of work when we talk about dream spaces. One of my favorite conversations ever that I hosted at Urban Consulate was a conversation that you were a part of about building dream spaces specifically for Black folks in the city of Detroit. How is that taking shape? And tell us a little bit about what that means for you and how it's evolving.
Mm-hmm. I'm with Lauren. I'm tired of everything being the same old. And I'm just like, can we just have new things, please? Especially knowing that African Americans are just like usually the creatives of new things, but it always gets co-opted or
that's right,
or whatever. So like, hip hop is just urban streetwear and all these things, butts and lips, like it's all just being
our butts
like,
and lips.
Butts and lips.
In the beginning. Now you can go to Dr. Feel Good. They get you one.
Like, oh my goodness.
Call 1-800 Black Butt.
So on the one hand, what we do and create is like fresh and new and taken kind of, or just taken the wrong way from white folks or other people. And on the other hand, what we create is not valid. And then it's kind of like, okay, so which one is it, y'all? Because y'all want to be like us, but then y'all don't respect what we put out that's new and genuine. And so I've been on this kind of like new architectural genre conversation, which is like people create architectural genres intentionally, and then sometimes it's not, but culturally it's easy to be able to see how genres have been created.
But for those who don't know what an architectural genre is, because I didn't know before you.
Okay.
Before I met you and Damon, like I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, because Bucky be teaching.
So, I mean, okay, I'll say it in layman's terms. Any person can drive down the street and see a church and say, oh, that's kind of like a Gothic church or dark kind of stone church. And that church looks different than the storefront church. And so it's just basically having those distinctions between how things look and what kind of brought them to be historically or how they were built. We know we have ranch houses where there's one floor or colonials or whatever.
Yeah.
And so just recognizing like, hey, this is the aesthetic that I like. I like modern or I like contemporary or whatever. Most folks can put some kind of name to their aesthetic.
So what's this new genre that you're exploring or creating? So,
I mean, it's still like working terms, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. But honestly, sometimes conversations are really well about it in the Black architectural space, and then sometimes the conversations are like kind of like dull, and people are like, nah, don't worry about that. Just keep going, Bucks. And I'm like, I don't want to keep going. Do something new. But in my brain, it's kind of like it dawned on me that we have our own aesthetic. We are creative. We are adaptive. Even in this Western culture, as African Americans, we still have an aesthetic, right? That's different than the continent. And so it's kind of like, how do we define that? How do we put it in terms? Because I was noticing a lot of themes and interwoven threads, but nobody was putting a name on it. Like how, like some of my aunties all had red and black furniture growing up. I'm like, why all got red and black leather furniture? Like, what is this? And then calling it something, right? And as that adapts, nowadays, most folks are like, like we want certain art pieces, or we want gold and black so we can feel regal, or we want the thing that's luxurious and like, but still like, and within means, within our means. And so just putting a name to that. And I think artists are really what's driving that, because when I go through Instagram and I see some of the most popular Black artists right now, they have a similar message, even though it's a different aesthetic. So it's like gold, actual gold metallics in their paintings, and deep, dark kind of tar blacks, and like painting our skin tones very black to just be unashamed and embrace Black culture. And so in that, we've been degraded for so long that the flip side is that we have to remind ourselves that we are regal, that we are this, like
that reminder. You actually taught me a term a few years ago, unlearn.
Yeah.
We got to unlearn.
Yeah.
Everything.
So the Unlearning House was a project that That was actually the project that sent me into
Hiding.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I think I said this at South by Southwest a few years ago. I didn't at that time.
That's a little festival that
That's a little
thing they do down in
they
Texas.
do down in Texas that everybody can't get to. But Bucky spoke there. Go ahead.
Yeah, but at that time I was like, we really have to unlearn a lot, and so the philanthropic sector didn't recognize that we had to they didn't understand that language and what that meant, and so they couldn't easily fund it. So I was like, I gotta teach you how to unlearn. I gotta teach you to help me to unlearn some stuff. This is crazy. And so really, after this fellowship, I'm really gonna hopefully be able to kind of sit back and ideate ways to really self-fund and figure out small incremental investments to do so that my community doesn't have to rely on philanthropic dollars to be able to unlearn as a community. Unlearning me and basically some of the things about Black folks that have been degrading over years that we've kind of had in our brains, kind of been brainwashed with. How do you unlearn that? It's not just like, I tell you, you're amazing, your skin is great, your hair is fine. That's not how we unlearn. Unlearning is like a process of self-reflection on a communal level and being like, no, this is amazing. This is the culture of why our hair is this way. This is a history. This is why it's dope. And this is also why you don't have to listen to those people who say it's not dope.
Can we spend some time there about this unlearning piece? Because I think for so long we have internalized white supremacist narratives about ourselves to the point where those of us who have access to whether it's economic privilege, political privilege, all of the things that we subconsciously perpetuate the same kind of degradation and oppression upon each other.
There's a great book called Black Skin, White Mask, Frantz Fanon, Fanon, that, this goes back a long time. He was writing in the 1940s, 1950s. This is a Black man who wasn't in America, right? You have Baldwin writing about it, you have Fanon writing about it, you had all of these Black luminaries saying listen, y'all, we need to unpack why we believe what we believe, and we've been brainwashed, and we need to recognize it. And both of them were really just looking at Black cultures throughout the diaspora. It goes deep, and it takes communal learning, it takes therapy, it takes
healing
it
of
does.
all sorts, right? Individual and collective.
It is. And I know it was the Black is Beautiful movement that was probably in the 50s or 60s, maybe 70s. I think we're having a renaissance of that, or a resurgence of that.
It feels like every 20 years. I don't know. It feels like it happens and it goes into a lull, then happens again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lauren, talk about healing and the dream space. Is the Institute also going to be a space?
Ask your friend if he's gonna give me this $300,000 to get the building that I want to get.
I got a friend that got that much money.
So yes to a physical space. Not right away though. But a lot of the conceptualizing around the Institute programming was to repair our psychology. It's in response to looking at why in an 80% Black city, we aren't the Black utopia. Why do people look at barely majority Black Atlanta as the Black utopia?
Power to the people.
And I think, yes, and I really think it comes down to what we think about ourselves. I believe going back to the period of urban renewal and our racial uprisings, I think Black folks have internalized that the current conditions are our fault. This is what I learned growing up, that Black folks just went nuts one day in 67
right.
and it scared the white people away, and they took
the good white people.
Scared the good white people away. They took their jobs and their tax base with them, and everything that we have now, we deserve. So if you can imagine,
I was taught that too.
How many other Black Detroiters are internalizing that? Because I'm why aren't people out in the streets demanding more? And it's because we think this is what we deserve. So what does it take to work on folks' psychology as we start to build up the built environment? I think that psychology is first, though. We talk about these third spaces and first spaces being our homes, but I think there's a primordial first space that needs to be healed before any of this other stuff will be sustainable, and I only know it because it's happened to me. I have been on my own journey, and things have started falling into place in my life when I got my mind right. like about my culture and our contributions here. And like big props to like people like Jamon Jordan that are reminding us like, no, we contributed to all of this in positive ways.
And it's trying to be, and folks are trying to erase it, right? Like we got to remember and preserve it.
Literally, people are like letting signs fall off of buildings. Like around, like I live a block away from the Paul Laurence Dunbar Hospital. It was the first hospital in Detroit where Black people could live. Yeah. And right now it just looks like a decrepit old house with like boards are falling off the windows. Like you would never know that all these like Black luminaries like served Black folks here and got their health in order. Like this is the only place we could go, and it's just falling apart right now. And you would never know.
You've self-described yourself before as a cultural placekeeper.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But what
I gotta change like every few years.
Yeah, but what does it mean? Because it sounds like that's what you're talking about.
It's hard for me to like pick names. Like I go by like Afro-Urbanist now. Because I'm trying to, that should be a movement.
But what does it mean to preserve culture, right? I think it's still a noble thing.
That's super important, and I'm trying to figure out what that looks like. A friend and I were having this discussion about, the Detroit versus Atlanta, and what we came up with is that Atlanta has a bunch of solid Black institutions. If you were to bring people, somebody
HBCUs.
HBCUs. If you came to Detroit and somebody was like, take me to your Black institutions, like we could go to the Charles H. Wright and Dabbles maybe, and like what else?
What was the second one?
Dabbles, the Bead Museum, Bead Museum. Yeah. But why in a city again that's 80% Black do we not have more Black cultural institutions? Second Baptist Church. Okay, but it shouldn't be this difficult.
And even the right,
it should not be this difficult.
There's some tax money that goes to the right, but it's still not enough. Like it doesn't actually get the.
Well, I'm on the community advisory for the right community, and I interviewed like a lot of our advisory members about the things I wanted to change about the museum, and so many of them thought the museum was too elitist. So how is our only Black institution?
I mean, can y'all go to the gala?
No, I can't, because I was like, hey, Neil, can we get some tickets for this advisory? So he was like, we'll see what we could do. But like, why the only Black institution, the big one in the city? Most Detroiters won't go there. Like, how is that serving us? So I think this next iteration of what cultural preservation looks like is going to those houses, like this Dunbar Hospital, this decrepit house in Midtown right now, saving those places, telling the story of those places, but more importantly, figuring out some kind of infrastructure to work on preserving those and telling those stories. Because it's one thing to like rehab the house, then who gonna manage it? Like who is in there every day?
And where the money coming from?
We need some organizations to like take control of these institutions and tell their stories and do programming in these spaces. So
but don't you think that's already happening? I think there are organizations that are at work and doing that. I think sometimes we just need to believe in these organizations and give them the money to do what they do.
Well, part of the wonder though is that we've lost a lot of our Black middle class. Like they haven't left the state, but they live in Farmington and West Bloomfield.
Why did Black middle class people leave?
My parents left because of a home invasion. But my theory around that is that, they were the forgotten about Black Detroiters. We were living like Live 6 adjacent, and my parents,
the Bagley neighborhood, y'all.
Yeah, the Bagley neighborhood, the far west side of the Bagley neighborhood, over on Margarita and Pinehurst, right there on the corner. But I feel like there's this era of folks that were forgotten about. Like they paid their property taxes and their income taxes, and they were good citizens, but nobody was really thinking about them. Like our leadership is always trying to attract new sexy people here. So the people that have been here 40, 50, 60 years doing what they're supposed to do are just kind of forgotten about. Because I met in my parents' little townhome community in Farmington Hills, there was another Black couple that had fled Detroit for the same reason, because they also had a home invasion. So how many good upstanding middle-class Black citizens, like you say, have fled to the burbs, but could have been contributing to the Detroit tax base? Because when we talk about like attracting all these people, it's all about tax base, right? I'm like, my parents were your damn tax base and you let them go.
And shout out to Aaron Foley, the prior chief storyteller of the city of Detroit. In 2016, he said something at a public forum, and I was super critical of those folks who left, right? Like just personally, I felt some kind of way. I
gave my parents the business for leaving. I thought they should have toughed it out, but they're also like senior citizens, and I was like, okay, I get it.
But it's
and that was the evolution for me, right? Like I had to learn that this is I can't be a Detroit purist. Like there are people need to put their money where they think it's going to be best served.
Yes,
right?
And if you don't feel safe, like,
That's
Right. You have those isolated incidents, but you also have
that aren't that isolated.
You also have a black middle class who wants a neighborhood school for their kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
That you know, like I think that we can't just look up and say black people left. We got to really unpack why middle class black folks left.
And I think mostly because they wanted to thrive, right? I mean, my dad is still.
But can we thrive in Bloomfield?
I mean,
I think
if
the
you
answer is
can
no.
relax,
It
and
depends
not
on what your
worry.
definition of thriving
We gonna be
is.
all day. We had an hour already.
My dad is ready to leave the East Side because he's been there for 30 years. The house is old. He doesn't want to take care of it because he wants to just go to Westland where all his siblings are and his mom. So like my granny and everybody else in Westland. And they're relaxed and they have the birds chirping and all that stuff. It's like the grass is pretty
Birds
green.
chirp on the east side.
Versus like we hear like
Around
I'm
your
from
house.
the East Side too. But we also hear like gunshots chirping and all this stuff. And it's kind of like, okay, how many times do I have to duck and cover because it's a shootout before we leave? And so I'm only 32. I'm resilient now. I'm young. I'm like, I think I'm invincible. My dad is like, no, I'm 62, bro.
That was
I'm
with
out.
my parents too. Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. We're up on an hour, so I know we got to close out because Lauren has
It's only
another
an hour?
engagement. Yeah, it's only an hour. Sorry, you give you a tease. Maybe we'll do part 2 next week. But I really like what you were saying about the psyche, and I think that absent, healing the psyche, we would continue to see these cyclical effects of number one, black folks really internalizing these white supremacist narratives that maybe to the point where they leave. Maybe they haven't had an incident of crime. Maybe they sent their kids with good to good schools in Detroit. But, it's just, sometimes that can be overwhelming. We also got to talk about crime and have a real conversation about what is happening in this city. And we need somebody talented to come in and help us have that conversation, because what are we doing in Greektown? And what are we doing in these other spaces? Right? What,
Can
can't
you
even
unpack
get into
because
that.
people, I don't know that people know.
Okay, well, so it seems like every weekend there is some sort of incident, shootout, fight, what have you, at Greektown, right? And so we've been seeing videos surface of citizens body slamming police punching people out cold in Greektown, and things of that sort. And so, like, I want to have a nuanced conversation where we address what is going on in the psyche of those of us who are acting the fool at Greektown, right? But also hold up and hold accountable some of the crazy actions by the police, right? Like we got police bucking. I'm like, all right, police downtown fighting. At least they ain't shooting us, but DPD will fight you before they whip out their gun.
But listen, if you look at any city council agenda, like there are lawsuits after lawsuits after lawsuits against DPD, and this kind of stuff is costing us as taxpayers money. So I mean, DPD.
Yeah, we got to figure it out, and we got to have way more smart people than myself and Chase who are into this really come and have this conversation.
Chase on some. If you read the city council agendas, no one's doing that, Chase. You're the only one that's doing that.
We looked at a Board of Police Commissioners report yesterday around the number of citizen complaints that the department has received and how many have been closed out.
Well,
And
you remember
what
there
we're
was
seeing-
an internal investigation that found there was racism rampant within the police department. That was right after that one police officer was like, bye, Felicia. There was an internal investigation. And
that was completely dismissed by the higher ups in our
And there was, I think it was right before the pandemonium or within the pandemonium about the narcotics agents and them going rogue and having unassigned CIs, criminal informants and stuff like that. So we know that corruption is there and that tendency is there. I mean, look at the institution, right? So that's not a surprise, but we got to talk about it.
Yeah. No, I love talking about it. I'm always just like, well, it all went downhill when when they stopped having cops be able to live in the city.
Oh God, how old are you?
The residency requirement.
When England got rid of the residency requirements at the state
That's
level.
when it all went
That's
down.
when it went downhill in Detroit. But I would tell you that, even when there was residency
Yeah, I
requirements,
know.
I mean, Donna Givens isn't here,
There's
but she
more.
would tell you about police squads and special units that were terrorizing Black folks in Detroit well before residency requirements were lifted. So yeah, it's a lot. So
It is a lot,
We're
yeah.
gonna have to talk about that. But if you have topics that you want discussed on this podcast, hit us up on our socials or email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. Y'all got any shout outs before we leave? Any shout outs?
Good.
You
I want to
good?
shout out Donna because I mean she nearly cussed me out over the weekend. Not really, but she had some stern words
Ooh,
for
I
me.
got a shout out.
Because we were talking about the election and how to vote, and it's just good to have people like Donna in my life to say like, listen, you're looking at this the wrong way. So shout out to Donna.
I would like to shout out Sydney James
Yes.
for an amazing
Yes.
Blackout Walls Festival.
Nice.
Yes. Shout out
The
Sydney.
walls are looking amazing. My cultural pride is
We got a
elevated.
chance to dance on
We
Saturday.
danced.
I was there on Sunday.
Yes.
I had plans on Saturday, but I walked through on Sunday and it was amazing.
It was so amazing. It was
Yeah.
great. So shout out to Sydney James for her vision.
Bucky, you have any shout outs or are you
I'm
good?
not cool enough to have shout outs.
Well, I want to shout out Bucky Willis for coming off of her hiatus and sitting on our couch and engaging with us. I really do feel so privileged and honored that you said yes, and it's so good to see you, friend. It's been over a year and a half, and we
know.
used to hang out regularly.
time.
I
And
feel
so-
like we all used to see each other
Yeah,
all
I
the
know.
time.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trips,
I want to
Chicago.
shout out. I know Bucky and I used to trip. We used to take trips. I want to shout out Antoine Bryant, the new planning and development director for the city of Detroit. What a higher rated episode that we gave the folks last week.
Listen,
Folks
that was a joy
yeah.
to do. Yeah,
I want him to be successful.
you gotta support him.
And we got to put our support behind him. I thought that he gave a brilliant interview. 3-on-1 ain't easy. And dude handled
Who was the
himself.
other one? You two and
It was me, Chase, and Donna Givens
Oh,
Davidson.
and Donna was here. Okay.
on Antoine, and dude was like jazz. I mean, just smooth with it. Honest to goodness, and those weren't some easy questions. He got away with not answering one question, and I gave
But
him
you ain't
that.
never
But
gonna forget
that I'm not gonna forget,
That's
but
so
we're gonna
funny.
follow up.
He was
But-
at the festival Saturday. I was like, all right, I
good.
appreciate
We're seeing him
that.
out. That's what I'm talking
Yes,
about,
right?
Yeah, and shout out to all of the Detroit residents and those who come from the region to assist at our polls today. Shout out to the poll workers. I made certain that I thanked all of the poll workers. Chase, how do we say thank you to the poll workers in French? Teach us a little French. How you say?
I don't know how you say poll.
Oh man, dang. Well, thank you.
I could say
That's
What about
merci.
volunteers?
Thank you for your
Merci
service.
à toutes les personnes qui travaillent sur les places de vote aujourd'hui. Voilà.
Thank you to all the people that worked in the places where you vote.
Was that it?
Look at her.
Yeah.
You know
I
it?
said you know French too?
No, I understand
Oh
it, but I
my
can't speak it.
gosh!
I can understand it too, but I'm
These little black people. They little bilingualness.
have like
Get your little French and
Your little
whatnot.
French.
You can get your little French and whatnot.
Oh man, we thank you so much for listening, and we want you to catch the wave.